What's with that outfit? You always look so broke. On my way to a business trip, I boarded the plane, only to find my ex-girlfriend there. She ridiculed me on sight. But soon after takeoff, an emergency arose. Is that a doctor on board? Then a tense announcement echoed, leaving my ex in disbelief at what unfolded. My name is Zachary Smith. As I approach my 30th birthday, I have no immediate plans for marriage, just busy days at work. I'm on a job which I dreamt since my childhood days, and I'm quite satisfied with my life. However, I've had some bad experiences with dating. Going back to my university days, I was in a tennis club then where I met a girl, named Emily Johnson. She had just moved to New York for the university, and her down-to-earth demeanor was exactly my type. She was always the life of the party, and I soon fell for her, thinking life would be fun together. I finally asked her out, and after a few dates, I confessed. I've been thinking I like you too. And suck, she surprisingly said, and we started dating. However, the initial joy was short-lived. She began showing her true self, completely different from the girl I knew. Her mood swings were intense, and she'd get upset over little things, taking it out on me. Why don't you get it? Are you even my boyfriend? That was just the start. I loved her and tried everything to make her happy. But her demands kept on escalating. One day, on the day of my date with her, I got sick and suddenly canceled the date that morning, which led to her lashing out over the phone. Really? Canceling last minute? That's just worse. I hate people who do that. Though you're wasting my time. Just the worst. To me, who was not feeling well. She didn't stop at one call, kept on complaining. I was really looking forward to today. Do you get that? A normal boyfriend wouldn't cancel on his girlfriend. You should really realize how bad that makes you look. Her words made me feel even worse. Everyone in the club saw us as the perfect couple, so breaking up wasn't simple. I just endured, often questioning if her verbal abuse and selfishness were too extreme. The thought of post-breakup awkwardness kept me from ending it. I had a dream, so I was working multiple jobs to achieve it. She was in a different apartment, and mine was known for its tough curriculum. The costs for textbooks and materials were high, and I was always strapped for cash. I lost my dad when I was young, and my mom single-handedly supported our family, so I didn't want to rely on her more than necessary. Therefore, I paid for my rent and food with my job earnings. But she never understood. When I declined her invitation to go on a date, saying, "Sorry, I have a part-time job that day," she said, "Another part-time job? Why don't you have so much money? You poor person. Can't you ask your parents for money? Are your parents poor? That's really the worst," she said, sighing and calling me a poor person. No matter how much I explained, she remained clueless. Then there was that Christmas I'll never forget. I managed to get Christmas Eve off, and I bought her a piece of jewelry with the money I'd saved, excited to see her reaction. But from the moment we entered the booked restaurant, she was in a bad mood. She had a look on her face as if asking why we were in such an ordinary restaurant and wishing for a more upscale one. However, the restaurant was also famous for its cozy atmosphere and great food. For a brief moment, I thought that she would probably be happy if she ate the food. Her mood only worsened when I presented the gift. Then she scoffed at the accessory I handed her. "Hey, what's this? This is a gift. You gotta be kidding. This can't be all right. No, it's just this," I answered with a sense of guilt. I turned to near the The next moment, she erupted in anger. "You cheapskate. What's with this cheap trinket? You think this suits me? It looks cheap woman to you. Normally, you'd give high-end brand bags or jewelry for Christmas, right? This tacky, cheap thing is a joke." She crumpled the accessory I gave her, looking at me with disdain. My carefully chosen gift and its sentiment were crushed, causing me immense pain. "As a man, you're so inadequate. Be more considerate of my feelings," she berated me over and over. I loved her despite this. Stop loving her. I strived to be a man more fitting for her. However, this ended when a few months after her graduation, she abruptly said, "Sorry, I found someone I like and broke up with me." She quickly switched to a handsome man she met at her new job. This breakup left a deep scar on my heart. Next, for a while, I struggled to cope, finding it hard to face reality. It took about 2 weeks to start functioning normally again. Back then, driven by a dream, I converted my heartbreak into determination and immersed myself in my studies. I stayed at the university, studying over 16 hours a day, almost every moment I was awake. This dedication paid off, and now I have my dream job, living a fulfilling life. My life has become far away from love, but lately I've been feeling that it's not bad to live my life through work. One day, an unexpected reunion occurred. It was when I boarded a plane for a business trip. Sakri, I turned around to a familiar voice and saw my ex-girlfriend, Pimley Johnson. Though her look had changed with heavy makeup and fancy curls, it was undoubtedly her. Inside, she was the same. Despite the years, she began ridiculing me. Still looking poor, huh? What's with the outfit? You should dress better for flying. Oh, can't afford it, right? For being broken out. She scrutinized me with a mocking smile. Her unchanged attitude was disheartening, and I tried to leave quickly, but she stopped me. She then continued to mock. What are you up to now? Got a real job. Actually, seems tough for you. Oh, I'm so glad we broke up then. It's none of your concern, I replied, eager to leave. Well, it doesn't, but hey, let me introduce you. This is my boyfriend, she said, introducing the man beside her. I hadn't noticed before, but when I looked closely, I saw that she was holding hands with the man next to her. He was tall with an expensive-looking watch and stylish shoes, the epitome of wealth. Then, unasked, she boasted about him. He works for a huge company, no financial worries. We're flying premium class today, a world apart from you. I endured her bragging and ridicule, feeling deeply uncomfortable. Passengers, please take your seats. The flight attendant announced, finally freeing me from her. Separated by my economy class from her premium seat. I sighed in relief, but soon after takeoff, an unforeseen event occurred. The intercom crackled to life. Is there any medical professional on board? Please approach a flight attendant if you can assist. The tone was urgent, signaling a medical emergency. Despite repeated calls, no one came forward. Except for me, that is, able to stay still. I quickly approached a nearby flight attendant and announced, I'm a doctor. Really? That's a huge relief. Can you come with me, please? I was led to the premium class. I saw an elderly man lying in the aisle, clearly in distress. Rushing over, I asked him, can you tell me your name? Are you able to speak, Smith? Mr. Smith, what's bothering you? Can you tell me where it hurts? My chest. Mr. Smith was clutching his chest in pain. I quickly started administering medical care. It turned out I was the only medical professional on board, and I managed to save his life by myself. For now, he should be okay. Please arrange for a hospital as soon as we land. I advised to the flight attendant, who had been anxiously watching, expressed her deep gratitude. Thank you so much. You are amazing. Your skills are really admirable. During the treatment, a woman's piercing voice interrupted continuously. It was Emily, my ex-girlfriend. She was astonished to see me being a doctor, something she hadn't expected. Wait, why are you here? Amateurs should stay quiet. Try and get my attention like this is useless. At first, she mistook my actions for an attempt to rekindle our past relationship. However, as the treatment progressed, she realized I was genuinely a doctor, and her reaction turned to jealousy. Why is Zachary a doctor? He never mentioned that when we were together. Please keep quiet. Despite the urgent situation, she continued to scream, earning repeated reprimands from the flight attendant. I'd no idea you were becoming a doctor. If I knew, I would have never broken up with you. Why are you dressed so cheaply if you're a doctor? Doctors are supposed to be rich with expensive watches, branded clothes, and bags. This is a scam. I've never seen a doctor looking so shabby. You're just a quack, she added, criticizing my attire. I was disgusted by those words, but before I could respond, an unexpected voice spoke up. Please, can you be quiet? It's clear this man is a competent doctor, saving a life single-handedly on this plane. I've never seen such a selfish, inconsiderate, greedy woman like you. Have some decency. Your yelling is unbearable. The patient's wife angrily scolded Emily, taking me by surprise. Emily was momentarily speechless, but she's not one to easily admit defeat. What? This is none of your business. Just stay out of it. She snapped back, but then turned her attention to me again. Hey, can we start over? If I knew you were going to be a doctor, I would have never said we should break up. I still respect and like you. Zachary, let's try again. I'll be a great wife. She said the impossible thing. Duh. What are you even saying? I couldn't help but laugh at her absurd proposition. But she persisted. I've been regretting our breakup. I'm so audacious to say such things after mocking me. But then at the next moments, there were words arising from other passengers. She's crazy. What kind of person is she? I've never seen someone so irrational. disrupting medical treatment? That's just absurd. Hey lady over there, do you even understand what's happening? Stop bothering the doctor and go away. You're a nuisance. Other passengers started to verbally attack her. It was very clear that everyone was concerned for the patient and annoyed by her selfish behavior. What? Why are you all getting involved? It's none of your business. Emily attempted to fight back, but was eventually overwhelmed. Several passengers intervened, pulling her away from me. Act your age and show some common sense. People like you are the most troublesome. She was scolded and shamed by the crowd. Just as I finished treating the patient and was laying him back in his seat, I told her, "You're just after money, aren't you?" "I know. Or maybe it's the status of being a doctor's wife you want. Or both. Stick to being a corporate worker's wife." My words struck a chord, and her face visibly reddened. "So what if that's true?" No, it's nothing. You know, I've been studying to become a doctor since we were together. I had no time, and I had to work part-time jobs to pay rent. It was tough. But as for you, well, sorry, but even as a doctor, I'm not the type to flaunt brand names or drive luxury cars. I think that's something superficial people do. I told her this, dripping with sarcasm. She seemed to be burning with anger and jealousy because I, who had been looked down by her until now, had told her the truth. In particular, her regret for missing a doctor seemed so strong. Then, trying to demean me further, she said, acting all high and mighty, "But you're just a doctor in some small town, right? What poor thing." But in reality, I was an emergency doctor at a major hospital. I had been appointed as the head of the emergency department in a new large hospital in Kentucky. My salary was off the charts, and it was a position with a promising future. Frankly speaking, I was on the elite path as a doctor. Her face when she found out, she was desperately trying to hide her shock and regret. She couldn't have imagined that her ex, whom she ridiculed and easily discarded, would walk such a notable path. But it was too late to realize what she had lost. Then came the announcement for landing, and we went back to our seats. It was our last conversation. After landing, she glared at me and quickly left with her corporate boyfriend. That was the start of her downfall. Her boyfriend, who had been next to her the whole flight, was furious. That would be natural. It's only natural to feel angry when you realize that the person who you love is with you because of the status and money, not because she loves you. And even more, she tried to reconcile with me. His feelings for her seemed to have cooled down in an instant, and they broke up soon after. Naturally, she cried and pleaded with him, saying she didn't want to break up with him. But it seems that after he found out her true nature, he didn't even look at her anymore. "But you're just after my money, right? Or do you want the status of being a corporate wife? Sorry, but I despise women like you. I never thought you were like that. Just disappear from my life. Because women like you deserve what's coming." He yelled at her, and she had to accept it. It was a huge shock for her, who had dreamt of marrying him. And at her workplace, her duplicity was exposed. "Hey, did you hear about Emily? That plane incident? So awful." This is always smiling, but what a backstabber. The rumor spread quickly among her colleagues, and she couldn't even walk down the hallway without feeling like she was on pins and needles. She ended up resigning from her job because of her discomfort. Her greed and selfishness cost her everything, her job, boyfriend, and she was left alone. Emily, who always splurged on luxuries, had no savings and soon couldn't afford her rent, forcing her to return to her rural hometown. Now, she's doing farm work, losing her zest for life, and has reportedly gained a lot of weight. There were very few young men in the countryside. She spends nights filled with regret and frustration, unable to sleep. Meanwhile, I'm busy heading the emergency department at the new hospital. I am blessed with a new environment, have good friends, and receive gratitude from my patients every day. And fatefully, I ran into the flight attendant again on a recent flight. "Ah, you're the one from that time?" We instantly recognized each other, exchanged contacts, and started going out. She's a glamorous yet sincere flight attendant, not materialistic, just like me. We hit it off, and I've fallen for her. The future is uncertain, but for now, I'm thankful for these happy days.